Exclamation, everybody, and welcome back to Wing Commander Saga. I'm starting up the main campaign here, and I'm very excited, and as always, I will remain quiet while this plays out.
Echo 2, form on my wing. Parade position. Make it tight, make it close.
Affirmative, sir.
Lima 1, have we picked up our friends yet?
Looks like we kicked over a hornet's nest. I am picking up 9 capital ships, one of them a carrier. Also picking up a lot of smaller targets. Fighters, looks like at least 60.
Hermes Control, Wing Commander here. Dorothy carrier in sight. Opposition is expected. Moving to engage.
Open a comm channel for me.
Channel is open.
Hermes Flight Group, this is the captain. You know what was lost. You know how they died. You know who did it. You know what to do. Godspeed, and come back alive.
Coexistence, not conflict, is the new Granitan policy, according to a spokesperson. Confederation officials are now meeting with the Granitans to dissuade them of this new approach, arguing that there was no evidence that the Kilrathi have ever honored a negotiated peace.
4 weeks after the loss of the Wellington, and they still haven't released an official report. No truth in the news, and no news in the truth.
This is your Captain Crazy Jane speaking. We are just a few minutes inbound to Fort Jackson. Comms still seem to be down, but we should have her in sight just as we pass around the moon. Oh my god!
Unidentified shuttle. This is Zulu 1. Call sign Jaws. I have radar lock on you. Squawk IFF codes and identify yourself.
Shuttle 236 inbound for Fort Jackson for refueling
And transfer to TCS Hermes.
Well, dear, here's the bad news. Fort Jackson ain't there anymore. You better want to hurry.
There might be Kilrathi in the area.
What?
You are still in unsecured airspace, but here's the good news. You are cleared direct to the Hermes. Sending coordinates now.
Coordinates received.
Welcome to the front lines.
This is Captain Moran. For those pilots and crew joining the Hermes from various venues, welcome aboard. For those from the Wellington, our condolences for the loss of your vessel. She was a good ship. You joined 4,000 of the finest crew and pilots anywhere in the Terran fleet. With 9 combat squadrons and 6 escorting warships, the Hermes Battle Group is one of the most powerful strike groups in the Vega sector. Our battle record and reputation speak for us. Our comrades respect us. Our enemies fear us. I do not know what the news networks have been broadcasting, but I will be frank with you. The war is at a stalemate. The Navy has been forced to deploy outdated light carriers to the front in an effort to replace the recently sustained losses, most notably among them, the carriers lost during the Battle of Earth. Being one of the few Confed fleet carriers in this quadrant, we make a big and juicy target. Needless to say, the Kilrathi have placed a high priority on the destruction of our carrier. They enjoy an overwhelming advantage in numbers of fighters of all classes and capital ships. Kilrathi have the upper hand, and they know it. During the past 2 weeks, we've been in the Chengdu system battling a Kilrathi battle group centered around a heavy carrier KIS Gapthrak. During our skirmishes, we have taken out a heavy cruiser, 2 destroyers, and half of her fighter complement. We've also put 3 torpedoes into the Gapthrak, forcing her to retreat back to a Kilrathi naval base. We're now positioned in the Brimstone system to hunt down a few Kilrathi raiders. Sadly, at 0414 hours today, Rear Admiral Callahan, our battle group commander, succumbed to injuries he received during the last attack on our ship. Funeral proceedings will be announced at a later date. We can all honor his memory by continuing to carry out our duties effectively and efficiently. Always a point of pride for Admiral Callahan. One more thing. A note to the current members of the 811th Bloodhounds. Colonel Walker has appointed Major Kenny Bawes to your vacant squadron leader position. Even our most experienced pilots will no doubt learn much under the tutelage of such a decorated combat veteran. Moran out.
I am Major Boz, the new squadron leader for the Bloodhounds. Some of you might already know me from our time on the Wellington. Our squadron is on rotation for the next patrol duty. I will be pairing up the new pilots with veterans from the squadron so the newcomers can be broken in. Sandman, you will be assigned to Grey Wolf. You two will be Alpha Wing and patrol the Hermes' right flank in a standard 3-point diamond patrol. Sweep these 3 nav points, then head back to the Hermes. Use your best judgment out there. Dispatch anything your Hellcats can take on. But if you find anything big out there, you are ordered to report back with the information. Do not engage it. Information in the battlefield is power, and far outweighs you getting killed. Bravo Wing will consist of...
Alright, sounds like a nice little milk run to start off the series.
Greetings, Lieutenant. Lieutenant Commander Kate Sweeney here. I run the switchboard. Listen to what I say, don't give me attitude, and we'll get along just fine. Alpha Wing, you have clearance for launch. Be wary of nearby traffic. 4 arrows on cap and 1 shuttle outbound.
Confirming. Establishing flight coordinates now.
Okay.
Routine patrol, ready to go.
No patrol is routine, Dorothy.
I would prefer if you didn't call me that.
Suit yourself, Toto.
I think I'd prefer Dorothy after all.
Attaboy. Now, set a course for the next waypoint.
Proceed to next waypoint.
Yeah, there's a backstory there, which I will get into shortly. I've been not recording certain sections of the game, and it's mostly because they would not make for good video. But what will make for good video is killing some kitties. Yes. So, there are, during the prologue, between missions, and for the first couple of missions in the main campaign, there's a whole sort of novel that was created as a companion to the game here, and in between those missions, you get to read through it. Unfortunately, it's
Let's move.
Alright, let's head on to the next nav point. Unfortunately, it's the text is extremely hard to read, even for me with my glasses on, looking at it in-game, let alone trying to read them on a YouTube video. And there's also pages and pages and pages of text, so it would take me hours just to read all of it.
Hey, Viper, what's going on? Same old, same old. Making sure this flying bullseye gets out of the system, okay? They're playing guard dog in a gated community. Well, apparently this suburb's going downhill. We ran into some cats at our last nav point. Thanks for the heads up. Dorothy, set course for nav 3.
Proceed to next waypoint.
So, that long-winded spiel as to why I haven't been recording those segments is to kind of lead into why he's actually calling me Dorothy. There's a little bit of backstory that's there about how I came aboard. All right. About my character, David Markham, second lieutenant. His first few moments aboard the carrier, he went down to the flight deck to, get acquainted with the maintenance crew as well as his new fighter, this Hellcat that we're in, shiny new fighter. Only to find it was not a shiny new fighter. It was previously, its previous owner had not quite departed.
Picking up some funky signals at the edge of my scope. You detecting that?
Yes, sir, I am.
Very well. Better check it out. I'm updating your nav computer with the new location for nav 4.
Proceed to next waypoint.
Yeah, the previous owner of this fighter had not quite fully departed. He was dead, but he was still, his insides were all over the cockpit, and so my character went up to the cockpit and upchucked once he found all those remains, and hence he's being called Dorothy.
Looky what we got here.
Sensors say 1 light carrier and 1 destroyer.
Dorothy, do not attack those captions. Fighters are fair game.
by Grey Wolf here because, you know, he had such a weak stomach. And Grey Wolf is the commiserate veteran around town. So that is where that came from and why he suddenly started calling me Dorothy. Right out of the gate.
Sandman, you got a bogey under 6.
And occasionally he'll jump in and say Sandman. Which is Markham's call sign. Oh, that hurt kind of. That kind of hurt. Hull integrity at 68%. Well, keep on keeping on here. It's just a few Darkettes. Speaking of that, we are fighting in a Hellcat. This is our first run in a Hellcat. In the prologue, we fought in an Arrow mostly, and then briefly in a Thunderbolt 7. The Hellcat is the medium fighter of Confed. Basically replaces the Scimitar from the older Wing Commander 1 and 2 and the Rapier fighter from Wing Commander 1 and 2. Rapier was a pretty good fighter, albeit a bit slow and lightly armored, which is why it was considered a medium fighter. But the Scimitar is
Dorothy,
the
time to get the
pain.
hell out of here. We're extracting the NAV-5 so the cats won't find the Hermes position.
Proceed to
Scimitar
next
was the
waypoint.
real pain in my butt because you flew lots and lots of missions in it, and it was the armor on it was as paper thin as you can get, and the guns were not that great. Although you could fire often, the mass drivers were not very powerful.
Are they still on our tail?
I doubt it. Anyway, set course back for the Hermes.
Proceed to next waypoint.
Alright, so we had a little bit of excitement here. We went off course slightly to investigate and found some Kilrathi activity. And now we're just heading back to the barn, so all in all, it didn't go entirely by plan, but
Mission complete.
still a milk run.
Hermes Control, this is Alpha Flight. We've come across a light carrier and her destroyer escort.
Roger that, Lieutenant. I'm relaying your report to the Colonel. How did the new pilot do?
Well, he came back alive. Enough said.
Very well. Alpha Wing, you have clearance to land.
And land I shall, Miss Sweeney. Land I shall. I finally have my controls set up properly, although I'm still a bit slow on the uptake here. Bit wobbly. Been drinking a bit. So let's get this back into its hangar and
Good job on the patrol work, Lieutenants. Not only did you sweep all the nav points of Kilrathi fighters, you stumbled upon the location of a Kilrathi light carrier and brought that information back alive. Intel has identified the Kilrathi light carrier as the KIS Tharkmar and the destroyer as the KIS Yagyug. These two have been driving the local defense forces up the wall. Rest assured, we'll be planning offensive operations in the next few hours. Dismissed.
awesome. Let's keep on keeping on.
Since we confirmed the location of the KIS Tharkmar, Colonel Walker has been sending wings from the other squadrons to flush out her fighter complement. We've cut our fighters down to size, and now it's time to drop the hammer. We are sending in a strike to finish her off. Alpha Wing will be me, Phalanx, Grey Wolf, and Sandman. I will be the flight leader and overall command of the strike. Our flight of 4 Hellcats will provide primary fighter cover. First, we will head to Nav 1 and sweep out the few remaining fighters that Tharkmar has on her decks. Once that is done, we will proceed to Nav 2, where the carrier has retreated toward the Dakota jump point. Bravo Wing, a trio of Thunderbolts from the Mudshark Squadron will be there to provide additional fighter cover if needed, but their main job is to go after the Tharkmar's destroyer escort. If they need a hand, we will help them out. Our Hellcats and Thunderbolts only have a few minutes to clear out all enemy fighters and defenses. When that time is up, Charlie Wing, consisting of 2 longbows from the William Tell Squadron, will enter the combat area and commence their torpedo runs against the Tharkmar. When all is done, we will return to the Hermes via Nav 3, as not to reveal her location to any cats in the area.
Alright, we'll do. Let's see what damage we can do here.
Bloodhounds, Mudsharks, you have clearance to launch.
And launch I shall once the guys get out in front of me here. Very good. Let's see what they have to say for themselves.
Alpha and Bravo wings, form on my wing. You guys know the drill. Set autopilots for Nav 1. Sandman, I'm making you the leader of Alpha Flight. I'll still be in overall command of the mission, but I want to see how you can lead a 4-plane flight in combat.
You really think that's a good idea?
Grey Wolf, cool it. I just want to see what he's made of.
Proceed to next
Yeah,
waypoint.
Grey Wolf. Cool it. Being lead of the flight basically means I just have to order people to break an attack, which they really should do anyway once the enemy arrives, but you know, orders and all that stuff.
Fighters on approach. Take it to them.
Break and attack.
Roger will, Bill.
I also like that one of the engine components that they brought over, well, yeah, I guess I can phrase it that way, is that you can see when I target these guys, you see the little red dots next to them up in the corner. That is telling me whether or not any of my other guys in my flight are targeting them as well, and how many. So right now there's 3 guys targeting this guy. It's interesting information. It doesn't really help me that much.
All clear. Set course to Nav 2.
Because ultimately I could just target other people and then my AI guys will still come and and ruin my day. But it is nice to know, you know, if you wanted to pick out targets that weren't getting as much joy, you could do so.
Enemy ship sighted. Looks like we're right on time.
Looks like that destroyer's shield generators are down. Mud Sharks, it's all yours.
Roger that. Psychopath, Avatar, do not attack. That destroyer is mine. Yeah, whatever. We'll keep the little ones off you. Of course, Captain. You selfish little bastard. I heard that, Lieutenant. I'm reporting you to Major Delaney as soon as this is over. Looks like the cat's laid out the red carpet. Let's not keep them waiting, boys.
Half dozen fighters, Darkcats. No match for our Hellcats.
Bloodhounds, take out that fighter cover.
Break and light them up.
Indeed I will. Indeed I will take out the fighter cover, or at least attempt to do so. So you might be wondering, why the heck are the Kilrathi retreating to Dakota system? Dakota sounds like something that would be under human control, not Kilrathi system like Cathark or Protroc or I can't think of one off the top of my head. But obviously Dakota is a human word, not a Kilrathi word.
That was awesome. Will you adopt me?
Nice, Avatar, nice. So why are they retreating to Dakota? Well,
New contacts. Bandits inbound.
oh, we got more bandits inbound.
These are fires a bit heavy. More than I expected. Oh, so you need assistance, help, backup, maybe Negative, you are trying to take my kill. You do not attack.
Okay. This guy's...
Damn, Captain McCoy's down.
Who gives a shit? Look how well the stupid burn. Better than gasoline.
You mud sharks can be inconsiderate bastards, you know that?
Nice thing about this war, the idiots can never escape Darwin's law.
Got the chatter, Mud Sharks. Just kill the destroyer.
There's no love lost for that guy. You don't fight for yourself, you fight for everybody. That is the lesson to be learned. And it looks like we've cleaned up all the fighter cover quite nicely. So let's hope our boys get in there with their torpedoes instead of infighting. Oh, I hear a couple fired off, so we should see a boom. Yes, there we go. Big kaboom.
I'd like to take this opportunity to send my condolences to the Emperor. Does anyone know where we can sunflowers? Or maybe one of those rubber mice?
Yes, I believe he'll like the rubber mice better.
Bloodhound Squadron, this is the William Tells. We're commencing our torpedo run. Cover us if you can.
You heard the man.
I certainly did. He's all business. Mud Sharks, I'm here. Do you think I fired 5 torpedoes or just 4? Perhaps you're not even counting.
More fighters are being launched. They're going after the bombers. Get them.
I certainly will.
Break and attack.
Got that.
Because I can't do anything to these damn turrets, no matter how hard I try.
That was awesome. Well, you
So anyway, why are the Kilrathi retreating to Dakota system? Well, Dakota is a Union of Border Worlds controlled system normally. However, the Union of Border Worlds all exist on the fringe of, Confederation space. So pretty much they are the front lines. And the Kilrathi at this point have pretty much worn down the lines to the point where they're starting to push back into Vega quite a bit. And Dakota is at this point in time under Kilrathi control. And there we go. Some torpedoes on this guy. Excellent. See if I can get a good shot of it. There we go.
Oh yeah, scratch one flat top.
Pipe down, Dorothy. That was just a cheap escort job.
And this is how all the grizzled veterans behave in the Wing Commander universe. Better get used to that.
Major, I read multiple disturbances at the drone point.
They look like Kilrathi fighters, or ships, capital ships. I can see like the very, claw-like structures. It's very, very tiny. Plus they are enemy dots on my radar. So.
Definitely Kilrathi. 1 heavy carrier, Bantakara class, 2 heavy cruisers, 4 destroyers, 2 corvettes.
Somehow they don't look happy to see us.
We've already done our job. All fighters withdraw.
Proceed to next
Oh,
waypoint.
gladly. That is a lot of ships. All but a partridge in a pear tree, huh? I imagine that this is a false nav point just to throw them off the trail, and then the next one will be the actual carrier, probably.
Nobody's home.
All pilots, set course for the Hermes.
Yep,
Proceed
indeed.
to next
All right.
waypoint.
We will do said things. So yeah, as you can see, the Kilrathi had a whole big fleet that was just sitting there in Dakota and just waiting to come in and help out, and that's exactly what they've done. They're now in Brimstone with us.
Mission complete.
Sandman, you're first in the cycle.
Need clearance, TCS Hermes.
Welcome back, pilots. Nice job on that little carrier. You are cleared to land.
Okay, and since this is the Brimstone system, this is not the first time in the Wing Commander lore that we've been in Brimstone. We paid a visit here towards the middle of, or maybe the early first half of the Wing Commander 1 series. We were in a scimitar for most of the time, going up against just a few fighters here and there. So it's interesting to be back.
Good job out there, Bloodhounds. The destruction of the Kilrathi light carrier would have wrestled this system back under Confederation control. However, the arrival of the new heavy carrier group has spoiled those plans. We've identified the Kilrathi heavy carrier as the KIS Tepuask. Intelligence reports that the commander of that vessel has a bone to pick with Captain Moran. Apparently these two go way back. Needless to say, Tactical has ascertained that this Kilrathi will follow us anywhere to restore his honor. To that I say, bring it on. There will be a funeral for Captain Paul McCoy on the flight deck at 1800 hours. Uniform is Class A dress blues. Until then, we'll remain on standby alert. Dismissed.
Alright, let's see what we got next.
You all heard the scramble alarm, so we have to make this quick. Recon flights from the Sparrowhawk Squadron report that KIS Tepuask has all but cleared his flight decks, and they will be here within the hour. Our recon patrols have already entered engagements with Kilrathi scouts. To protect the carrier, Colonel Walker is ordering a magnum launch, all available fighters up. Ships from the other fighter squadrons are fanning out from the Hermes to form a main defensive perimeter. Others are going to intercept these Kilrathi destroyers, which are fast approaching missile launch range. We Bloodhounds are pulling point defense. Our job is simple. We are to stand guard over the Hermes and her escorts. We will coordinate our defense with the other squadrons and escorts of the battle group. Anything that gets past our main defense force, we will take out. No questions asked. Let's get to it.
And we scramble to protect the Hermes next time.